everybody. Welcome back to English 112, and this is for our class for Tuesday, the 3rd of November. And where we are is we are putting some closure to A Midsummer Night's Dream. Today is also Election Day, so I hope that you go out and vote. In terms of A Midsummer Night's Dream, we've been watching the Shakespeare's Globe performance 2014 by John Light, which is, I believe, a particularly good performance, if for no other reason, because it occurs in the reconstructed Globe Theater, so that we could get a sense as to what we might have experienced. Some of you indicated that you were having some difficulty accessing the link for that particular performance. And if that's the case, you can always watch another performance. If you'll notice, the attendance questions I've been asking are general enough so that you don't necessarily have to rely on one specific performance. And we are at part 3, the ending of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Where we left off last class is that we found out that because of the love juice, both men, Lysander and Demetrius, are in love with Helena, who is the tall blonde, not Hermia, who is the short brunette. And Helena, the tall blonde, believes she's a victim of a prank because nobody had treated her with any kind of interest previous to that. Hermia believes that Helena, her former best friend no less, is basically stolen her man. And that's led to what I call in Act 3 the catfight scene, where the two women who were former best friends quickly become enemies, with lots of insults that we will talk about next class, things that may not necessarily seem as an insult in our contemporary language, such as painted maypole, that would definitely be an insult during this particular time period. And then ultimately, we know we're watching a comedy, and we have to have a happy ending. If this were a tragedy, well, then these characters could very easily kill one another. But instead, what happens, the love juice is removed from Lysander, so he returns to loving Hermia, and the love juice remains on Demetrius. In other words, he will remain loving Helena, which is how the play began, or prior to the play, how the status was. So this should be the restoration of order. And then the love juice is removed from Titania, who basically declares, I was in love with an S. And then we find out that the donkey spell is going to be removed from Bottom so that he returns to human form. So where we are now is that King Theseus, seeing that all 4 of the human couples, or all 4 of the human individuals, or the 2 couples are happy, that both Helena and Demetrius are happy with one another, and Hermia and Lysander are happy with one another, he's decided that he's going to rule that is the way things will remain, and Aegeus, Hermia's father, is just going to have to accept the fact that she has defied her father's will, which is rather eyebrow-raising for this particular time period. And then what we see would indicate that perhaps we're done with the play, but we're only in Act 4, and we know that a Shakespearean play requires 5 acts. The 5th act seems to be superfluous, but trust me, it's not superfluous. When we get the play within a play by Pyramus and Thisbe, performed by Bottom and his cohorts. It's a ridiculous play with poor writing and acting, which has oftentimes been viewed as a kind of commentary on Shakespeare's competition, which we will discuss further next class. It has a lot of humor, a lot of sexual references and bawdiness, which we'll also discuss next class. And those who are watching Pyramus and Thisbe, the characters from A Midsummer Night's Dream, have no insight whatsoever into the fact that they were acting equally ridiculous. And then we get Puck's final speech, his goodbye speech, and that basically puts closure to the play. And for today's attendance question, via the class discussion forum, this will be on Wednesday, the 4th of November by 10 a.m. Did you like or dislike this production of Shakespeare's Globe performance 2014 John Light of A Midsummer Night's Dream? And if it turns out that you needed to watch another performance, you can indicate what that performance was and if you liked it or disliked it. And of course, most importantly, why. So then what we will do on Thursday's class is talk a little bit about some of the themes and issues in A Midsummer Night's Dream, as I have been evaluating your paper number 1 and returning that back to you via email. So I hope you're well, I'm well, and enjoy the ending of A Midsummer Night's Dream.